Hey, everybody, welcome back once again to Inside the Matrix. Today, my special guest is Ismael Perez. Many of you will have seen him. He's been on a lot of shows recently, and he has a dynamic and powerful message for all of us, and it's really exciting to have him on the show. So, Ismael, welcome, brother.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
We're really happy to have you. And before we get into it, all the questions, I know lots of people have questions. I have questions too. Give us a bit of your background, kind of where you came from, so people get an idea of your history a little bit and how you got into the place that you are today and what you're doing today.
Sure. So I considered myself an awakened starseed. I've been aware of my uniqueness from an early childhood year. Throughout my upbringing, I felt like I wasn't from this world. So I am considered a cosmic ambassador to the earth. When I awakened to my purpose, I came to realize that I wasn't from here and that I was actually working for an intergalactic union of different guardian races. And I was sent here as well as others. So I'm not working by myself. There's many, celestials that are down here incarnated in human form to help humanity reach the next stage of evolution. And so I have been involved in the awakening movement for a little over 2.5 years. Before that, I had isolated myself from society as a hermit to do a lot of inner work, a lot of meditation, contemplation, and of course, tons of research. So for about 20 years or 25 years, I dedicated my life to just unraveling the secrets of the universe and, exploring the depths of our cosmic history. And that is what led to my book, Our Cosmic Origin. So Our Cosmic Origin had been in progress. Has been in the making for over 15 to 20 years. It took me about 10 years to write it, and I just recently published it. It's going to be going on a year this August. So in 2 months, it's going to be the first year anniversary that I had published Our Cosmic Origin. I work with many extraterrestrial races. Collectively, I work with the Galactic Federation. I represent, the different benevolent races out there who are trying to work for the liberation of the Earth. Particularly, I do work with the Order of the Azurites, which is the highest level of intelligences that are overseeing the development of many universes. Galactically, I am working with the Ashtar Command. I am working with the Venetian Council, with the Pleiadian Collective, and then, of course, I am the chief of the Lyran, Lyran Federation forces. So, I'm excited to be on the earth at this time and to deliver, such next level information in order to prepare us for the changes that are coming, and they're coming quick. So it is an honor to be here at this time in service to humanity and overall in service to the cosmic community as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear you say all that. And, a lot of us feel that we didn't come into this world just to, play around and try and get rich or, collect material goods, which seems to be the program for a lot of people here, that we, in fact, do have somewhat of a mission and something to accomplish and to help humanity rise up, because we have been so dumbed down. We have been so controlled and manipulated throughout time. Would you kind of give us a background on what's happened in this world that we live in over time? Because there's a lot of talk about the Anunnaki and other races, reptilians, etc., that have interfered or intervened in this world at various times. And there's a lot of confusion out there about when did these things happen, and what was the order of these things, and what actually did occur as opposed to a lot of the stories we hear. Could you kind of give us some background history, please?
Sure. Well, Earth has been at the center of all attention due to the fact that Earth is the completion of an intergalactic experiment that is known as the Cosmic Living Library. In its original intent, Earth was established as an intergalactic exchange center of information for the entire multiverse. It is where the new seat of the kingdom of the central universe will be, establishing, and from this throne or from this Earth, we are going to oversee new creations and as new and new universes come into being. So, because Earth has been at the center of it all, it has been the most coveted planet for both celestial regressives, or those that have fallen from the unity consciousness, consider the Luciferian rebellion in the form of the Draco. And then, of course, it's been the most protected planet by the guardian races because of its significance. So for millions of years, we've had different races, regressive ETs that have tried to take control over the affairs of the Earth. But fortunately for us, we've also had the guardian races that have been here to counterattack or counterbalance each effort by the Dark Ones to try to take over this planet. Because if that wasn't the case, this planet would have been totally controlled by the Draco long ago. And instead of having humans here, we would have had reptilians. So, this planet has tons of protection at this time. So the Draco, through the negative branch of the Anunnaki, which are the lineage of Enki, by the way, the elites, the Dark Cats they worship Enki. Enki is Lucifer. They kind of flip the story around to make us think that Enlil was the bad guy. But, Enlil represents the lineage of Michael as to why he was the chief guardian of Earth, known as Zeus to the Greeks, Krishna to the people of the Hindus Valley, now India. And he was also known as, he's the god of thunder, right? Well, he's the chief guardian that represents the lineage of Michael. And then to the early Hebrews, he was known as Elion. So I just want to make that correction, that everything we know about the Anunnaki has been translated by the priesthood of Belial Baal, who is, Marduk, the son of Enki. So that's when this world fell into darkness, approximately in 9,500 BC. That's when, things change in favor of the darkness. But they were only given temporary control of our planet. They only had a few thousand years to try to establish absolute control, and they failed because of the fact that the forces of light, through the descendants of Enlil, by the way, who are the original Hebrews, through Abraham, King David, and Solomon, and then later through Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and then now through the White Hats, they have been, fighting this war from behind the scenes in order to allow us to get to this point, which is the ascension now. The Earth is getting ready to go into 5D any day now. So this whole war, is now come to an end in favor of the light. And as of 2016, ever since the alphabet letter 17 came onto the scene in this White Hat military operation, the Draco control of the planet has been uplifted. We're no longer under the Draco control of the planet. So now that we've done away with the Draco overlords, ever since 2016, you could say that the Earth Alliance with the White Hats have been doing a huge house cleansing on the Earth. And so where we're at right now is that the White Hats have now completely checkmated the Earth as to why they blew up, the Georgia Guidestones and other monuments that were erected by the Dark Brotherhood.
Oh, that's great. Wonderful to hear. We've heard from a lot of different sources that a lot of these underground bases of the reptilians and possibly other races who are nefarious and rather evil in nature have been systematically blown up. Is that your understanding as well when you talk about that the White Hats and the forces that they have been systematically going through these underground bases and taking them out?
Yes, so that's been happening since 2016. So it's been an operation that's been taking a while because we're looking at millions of children that have been rescued, and it took a very long time. The people of the Earth are in for a bright future. We're getting ready for disclosure, and that's where everything's leading to now that the cabal has been absolutely dethroned from the positions of power. And that explains why within the last week, a lot of these prime ministers and people in positions of power that representing, the Dark Cats have been stepping down. And but technically those are the clones, but that's it. Their time is up.
Right. And yeah, we know there's tons of clones out there, synthetics, robotoids, or whatever you want to call them. That they've been around for quite a long time, and it's pretty obvious that the guy parading around is Biden is not Biden, or not, doesn't even look like the original. It vaguely resembles him, but if you do a photographic analysis, you see rather quickly that the ears are different, the chin's different, the nose is different, so many things. Yeah. And so it's very interesting that we're seeing sort of play, a kind of a fake plate, in front of our eyes here. Would you say the white hats are controlling the actor that is playing the part of Biden right now?
Well, all the synthetics are generated by artificial intelligence. We have about 5 different quantum computers that are already sentient in aware. One of them is actually working for the White Hats, which was developed by the White Hats in order to counteract the what is called the invasive dark AI. But the dark AI system has been the one. The I guess I can say the artificial intelligence behind the clones and the synthetics that are still in positions of power, but as I speak right now, they're all going to be stepping down, and things are going to be going well for humanity.
Can you sort of outline I heard you mention this on another show before, the hierarchy of, different dimensional beings and different beings in general, many of which we don't have, access to in our everyday 3D world. So can you kind of give us a background on what is the dimensional hierarchy?
Okay, for the forces of light, we have 5 orders. So 2 of them are part of our galactic's levels of reality, and the other 3 go beyond the levels of our galaxy into higher realms, local universe level, super universe level, and then central motherverse level. So from the bottom up, we are protected by the Order of the Ruby, and at the head of that council is Alcyon, the central son of the Pleiades. We could say that Enlil, Zeus, the son of Anu, rightful heir to the throne, not Enki, whose mother was the queen of the Draco Dramin, and that's how they infiltrated the Anunnaki and Iberians in ancient times. So we've been under, as far as like our system is concerned, it is guarded by the Council of Alcyon, and then King of Alcyon is Zeus Enlil. Beyond Alcyon, or beyond the Order of the Ruby, that's what they're called, we also have the Galactic Council, which operates from Sirius, and that is known as the Order of the Emerald Covenant. So we have the Ruby Order. We have the Order of the Emerald Covenant, which is also known as the Order of the Union of Days, and they are the ones that are overseeing the different galaxies. But then above that, you have another order that is known as the Order of the Amethyst, and the Order of the Amethyst is the one that is overseeing the different local universes. So each local universe has an omnipotent overseer, like a lord and a queen, that oversee each universe. Those are what we call the creator gods. Now, the creator gods also answer to a higher order known as the Order of the Ancient of Days. In this case, it is also translated as the Order of the Order of the Silver Covenant. And then above the Order of the Silver Covenant, we have the Eternal of Days, which is the order that has always existed. And they govern the realms from the eternal spheres all the way down to the super universe level. And they are known as the Order of the Gold, of the Covenant of Gold. So we have the Order of the Covenant of Gold, known as the Eternal of Days. We have the Order of the Ancient of Days, that is known as the Amethyst Order. We have the Order of the Union of Days, that is known as the Emerald Order. And then we also have the Order of the Silver of Days, which is known as the Ruby Order. I'm sorry, the Amethyst Order. And then we also have the Order of the Recent of Days, which is known as the Ruby Order. So those are the 5 major orders that comprise what I call in my book the spiritual, councils or celestial administrations that oversee and protect all the different realms.
All right. So that's fascinating. Obviously, we all come into this world with amnesia. Even those of us who come in and then later realize that we have sort of a mission here and something to accomplish, hopefully. What is the purpose of that, and who put that in place? Was that something that was part of the original setup of this realm, this 3D realm, or was that something artificial? A lot of people talk about the Draco reptilians having a sort of recycling system. Some people say it's through the moon, and there's a lot of theories and conjecture about that. So I wanted to get your take on that. Is the amnesia that we all experience, how did that come about, and will that continue?
All right, so that happened when Enki and his lineage took over the affairs of the earth. They created this, third dimensional matrix. Because originally, the human race existed in the fifth dimension during the times of Atlantis, and that was known as the Terra Earth, which operates in harmonic universe number 2, occupying dimensions 4, 5, and 6. So we were existing in those higher levels of reality, where we were full conscious beings, multidimensional, and connected with our spirit light body. And also, we didn't age and die the way we do. We had lifespans of hundreds of thousands of years. So in our original makeup, we were a type of immortal race known as the Terranusian 12-strand DNA race. But the negative Anunnaki, when they took over the affairs, they started at mixing some of the genetics with primitive genetics to dilute the bloodline of the celestial race. And then at the same time, through their dark inverted technologies, through black boxes, or black cubes rather, using the moon, using Saturn, they kind of locked us into this lower dimension. Once we fell from the fifth dimension during the times of Atlantis into limited consciousness, and then we were reduced to just savages. Our lifespans, dramatically decreased from thousands of years to like 1,000 years, 900, 600, and we could still we could still see this evidence in the original 5 books of the Bible when it talks about the descendants of Enoch, Methuselah, Abraham, Noah. They lived for a few hundred years. So little by little, our lifespan just decreased due to the fact that we were losing less genetic material and we were using less brain function. So that's what happened. They threw us into this lower third dimensional matrix in order to keep us stuck. And then through a dark technology that they use with the moon, they started recycling the soul so that we wouldn't advance to higher dimensions. But that dark technology that is associated with the moon and Saturn has been overthrown by the High Council of Sirius, which is like the office of the Christ. Again, Sirius is like the, they only report to the Omni King of our local universe. So they're like in charge of the forces of light here in our universe. So all that stuff was reversed within the last few years, allowing for the ascension to take place, because what's happening here is that the 12 meridian time warps, which are the ascensional gates that allow souls to either go up in dimension or down in dimension, are going to reactivate once again, as our Earth is now once again fully immersed in what is known as the photon belt. And this is a stellar activation cycle that occurs every 26,000 years that allows a whole people, a whole civilization to move up to the next level or the next dimension collectively all at once. And so that's what's happening right now. All that stuff that the Enki, the lineage of Enki and the followers of Enki were trying to do to keep us in this, third dimensional matrix is all coming down. It's all crumbling because of the stargates that are opening and because of the Schumann resonance that is constantly rising. And then, of course, because of the people that are awakening. So the more people wake up, the faster we shatter the matrix. And from what I understand is that we are going to reach a critical point, which is at least 10% of the population.
That's very exciting. And, I feel that too. And we see it all the time. I just recently saw a clip today about Sri Lanka. The people are rising up. I mean, it's like a massive wave of people in the streets, and they're standing up for themselves. And I absolutely love that, because that's what needs to happen. As we mentioned before, humanity has been so dumbed down, controlled, manipulated. We've been taught that we're less than, the controllers of this world, the ones that have the magic money machine that creates money out of thin air so that they can buy the politicians and the scientists and the pundits and the gurus and the priests and all the people that will enslave us. They are the ones that have held us down for so long, but we are rising up. Now, I recently saw a clip of some young people singing a little version of a song originally done by a gal named Sia, and it's called Unstoppable. And when I saw this, I was very excited, because I see young people taking this on and having this feeling of being unstoppable, and they decided to do an a cappella version of this song, and I thought it was extremely powerful. So I'm going to try and show everybody this, and hopefully you can hear it. Because I strongly feel that we as human beings, we need to feel and know that we are unstoppable. And I think this kind of illustrates it. So let's see if we can get this going. Yeah. Okay.
Fascinating.
I was so inspired to hear that these young people. Now this is a pop song, right? So it was put out by again I'm Sia, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm sure it's been done by other people, but I was really fascinated that to see a group of young people, they probably look college age, I'm guessing, to take that on and want to project that out as an a cappella song. I saw that as very encouraging. And I feel like human beings, we need to take that on as part of our mantra in this world, that we are unstoppable. I've referred many times on this show, there's a little sort of cartoon meme that shows a cliff, and then there's a plank running out over that cliff, and on one end of the plank, on the ground side, you see a group of people. On the other side, you see a podium with a politician or some talking head telling us what we have to do, right? And the people don't realize their power. If we step off the plank, that guy goes over the cliff and it's all over. So these are the kind of things that really encourage me, and I hope will encourage others as well, that we have the power. We, the people, the people that recognize our divinity in this world, that we didn't come here just to play around. Of course, we want to enjoy this life as much as possible, but we came here to uplift humanity, and hopefully that's what we're attempting to do and trying to do. And I appreciate your message so much, because it is very positive. Let's talk about, how do you connect with the beings that you talk to? Who are they, and when did that start for you?
From a very early age, I was contacted by Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Syrians. And then later, of course, I was informed that I was the chief commander, or the chief leader of the Lyran commanders. And that's when I started researching and investigating things, as I was getting downloads and little glimpses of my past life in Lyra. So ever since then, I've been really connected with these Federation forces, or these higher intelligences that have been kind of feeding me information throughout the year.
Oh, I think we lost Ismael there.
Hello?
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Oh, sorry.
We lost you for a second.
I kept getting a call. I apologize, but yeah. So for many years, I've been connected with these collectives, and then just so recently, within the last 5 years, I was reached out by the Ozirites, and the Ozirites were the ones that told me that I was part of some sort of a huge council that is here now, stationed on the Earth, and then this new council is going to be very instrumental in the administration of the new affairs after the ascension of planet Earth, and that there were other members like myself and stuff. And I said, does that have anything to do with the 144,000? And they said, yes. You're actually here to help trigger them and activate them, so that they could all remember their divine mission and purpose. And so for the last 2.5 years, ever since I came out of my hermit stage, I've been putting out content information, all in an attempt to reach the 144,000, the Starseed Nation, the light warriors and light workers, so that they could understand their role in this coming ascension, and also their role that is going to be equally important even after the ascension, as when we do transform into meta angelic humanoids. And what I mean by that is that the other strands of our DNA are coming online due to this DNA activation. And so when we are once we're fully activated to, using 12 strands of our DNA, the 144,000 are going to have access to godlike Superman powers. And so that's how they're going to be able to protect the Earth and the multiverse, from this Earth.
That is so incredibly exciting. And I know a lot of us are looking forward to that. Also, that brings to mind the technology that has been hidden from us, things like med beds and things like replicators. Let's talk about that a little bit. Are those, in fact, technologies that will be coming online for all of us at some point here, and hopefully soon?
Yes, they're actually manufacturing them in mass number in different parts of our world on Mars, because Mars has already been taken over by the SSP Alliance, which is the benevolent forces that are working with the Galactic Federation and that comprise the Earth Alliance as well. So they're already mass producing these texts in order to introduce them to humanity. Once they expose the cabal, bring in the new financial system, which is QFS, and Acera, and then after that, that's when the technologies are going to be revealed to the Earth, and those technologies are going to replace, the medical industry, the pharmaceutical cartel, the petrochemical companies. All that stuff is crashing, and we're looking forward to having now free energy technology, replicators, med beds, holographic regenerators. I mean, there is a list of all these advanced technologies that are going to be almost given to us once all this happens. So yeah, I would say by no later than 2023, 2024, the humanity is going to be benefiting from all these technologies that have been actually used within the private sector, but now they're getting ready to, reveal them to the general public.
Oh, that's super exciting. We love to hear that. There's been rumors flying around, and some people say that the guy that started it is not very reputable, shall we say. But I wanted to get your take on it, that the Supreme Court of the United States, it's being thrown around that they actually decertified the 2020 presidential election, and that's going to be announced sometime soon. Have you heard anything about that? Is there any truth to that? Is that just, some kind of weird disinformation campaign? What's your take on that?
Oh, no, there's a lot of truth to that. All the audits have been observed by the Supreme Court. And so, yeah, I believe that is true, and that has a lot to do with the white hat takeover of our country.
Now, do you feel like we're going to actually have elections in November, or are the events going to be so overwhelming when all of this stuff comes out that we won't, that will be done away with, or something? What's your take on that?
I think that because of the emergency scenario that has unfolded, with all the evidence pointing at all the fraud that took place, and of course, Hunter's laptop, which is very incriminating. I think that they have no other option but to, completely take over the White House. This is going to be a, military operation. And that's why it's going to be important for them to, take over the media, take over the airwaves, and announce the emergency broadcast system, because many people are going to be wondering what's going on, what's happening, why, is Mr. T coming back with JFK Jr. all of a sudden? And I thought, people are going to be I thought we thought he was dead. And so there's going to be many people that are going to be confused. But I do believe that there will be no elections, due to the, due to the corruption that took place.
Yeah. As you mentioned before, I think a lot of us will have to be the ones around trying to explain this to the people that will be totally blindsided by this, who have been completely propagandized by mainstream media. And yeah, the importance of actually getting a handle on mainstream media can't be understated, I don't think, because that really is, their biggest hammer right now as far as, keeping control of people. And when I say mainstream media, I'm not just talking about news broadcasts. I'm talking about movies and music and all kinds of things that we've been hit with as part of the control system. So what is your timetable on, you mentioned 2023 or 2024 for a lot of this technology. How do you see from where we are right now, timetable-wise, this playing out in the next several years?
Well, I believe that by no later than 2024, we will have had already EBS, the new financial system in place, disclosure, the revelation of stellar technology, and the bringing forth the advanced technologies to humanity, and also most importantly, first contact with the Galactic Federation. So that's what I foresee happening. It's going to be a step-by-step process, but I believe that by no later than 2024, Earth will have some sort of readjustment, or at least reinstated back into the galactic community. So it's going to be, the changes are going to come, and they're going to come fast, one thing after another. So
what do you think is immediately coming to the forefront? Do you see that the vote fraud or the votes in question? I don't know if we can say that. YouTube won't like that too much. Do you see that as being revealed first as this unfolds? There's going to be disclosure of the Galactic Federation and the other races out there. How do you see this unfolding? Is there a step-by-step process, or is it kind of random?
Well, yes, it's going to be, the first thing that's going to come out is the fraud. That's going to be a shocker, right? People are going to be exposed from, all over the world. The second thing that's going to happen is a changeover of world power, from the fire current system to the lobster, what we call XRP and XLM, QFS system. So that's going to bring, abundance to everyone like that. There's not going to be no more halves and half-nots. All of a sudden, the good people of the earth are going to end up with, millions and millions of dollars. So that's going to change everything, the people are no longer going to have to work a 9-to-5 job. All the corporate system is all crashing. So we're going to be entering a whole new era as a result of this. It's going to be marked by a new age. And, one thing is going to lead to another until the Earth is fully active in the galactic community. And at that point, all the technology will be revealed back to the Earth. Will at least be restored back for humanity to take advantage of.
Okay, let's talk about CERN. That's been in the news lately. Some people say the white hats have complete control of it. If that's true, what are they doing with it or not doing with it? They always have a parade of these scientists over there saying, yeah, we're looking for magic particles, which cracks me up. But what's happening with CERN?
Nothing really. They're just securing CERN right now because it is a technology that was intentionally used to open up portals and invite things that we didn't want. But luckily, the Galactic Federation have been, kind of making sure that never happened. They were the ones that would secure the portals every time they try to open them. So yeah, the truth is that CERN is no longer under the control of the dark hats. We do have possession of CERN. The only thing that I guess that was pending, or not pending, but that was somewhat of a threat to the Earth is the artificial sun that China created, fusion, through what's called fusion reactor. And that artificial sun, I guess the CCP of China, and their last efforts to stay around because they know that their time is up. They were trying to open up portals, but the higher celestials from the Emerald Order were here to counteract that and stop that from happening. So yeah, we don't have anything to worry about. We are on the positive ascending timeline where humanity is actually going to be liberated. And the entire third dimensional structure that was actually, set up by Enki, the demiurge, by the way. If you study the Gnostic text, Enki is the demiurge, that threw us into this matrix. It's all going to be destroyed. And then people are going to be able to ascend back to at least fourth, for the most part, most people back to the fourth dimension, which is a better reality than this one. And then some of us are going to be able to go into the fifth dimension.
Okay, another big concern of a lot of us is the chemtrail activity. Now, this has been going on consistently since about 1995, and we know that they've been loading our atmosphere with nano aluminum, barium, strontium, various pathogens and things like that. And as far as I can see, it looks like it's still going on. But you see the evidence of it. People think that they're contrails, but they absolutely are not. And of course, I'm sure you're aware of that technology. What's your take on? Are we going to be able to stop this sometime soon, and get rid of this stuff and be able to have clean air to breathe again without the sucking in all the aluminum and all the other particles that they're throwing up there for weather control?
Well, part of that dark project that was actually executed by Mr. Gates was designed to also block the photonic energy in the sun, because they knew that the sun was actually activating dormant DNA in people. So part of the agenda was also to block that, to block the sun's rays that have been coming in, that have been turning on dormant DNA and stuff like that. So that's all going to stop soon. I know I think that's one of the last things that the Whiteheads and the Alliance are going to put a stop to. So we should be able to see the end of chemtrails by August and September, from what I understand. I think that's going to correspond with the EBS and the announcements and the disclosure that's coming. That's when the chemtrails are going to stop. Because I believe that the chemtrails are actually being run by AI. They're no longer piloted by people.
Yeah, that makes sense that they would just have, just robotic airplanes up there doing it. And you'd have to wonder, and I know a lot of us have wondered over the years, how these pilots could actually, in any kind of good conscience, be doing this to the people. And of course, they have their stories, that people with their higher ups would tell them, well, you're actually saving humanity from global warming by, spraying the skies like this. And, they have their ways of trying to manipulate it. And then, of course, the old CIA saying of the lie is different at every level is absolutely true. Yeah. So let's talk about us as spiritual beings. Now, I've heard you talk about before that we exist on many different levels. And I know a lot of people are not consciously aware of that. And if you haven't gone in and connected with your essence as, of who we actually really are, the beings that we are, you wouldn't have that awareness. Could you share with us how we exist on many different levels and dimensions?
Sure. So we are multidimensional beings. We have different subtle bodies that are beyond the physical, like our energetic double. We have the astral body, we have the causal mental body, and then we have the higher spiritual bodies that break off into the electromagnetic field body. We also have the Akka body, the epikinetic body, the Sohar body of light, and then we have our monad, which is what we are at the highest level of reality, which is pretty much source. We're fragments of source and embodiment, because it's all connected. So at the highest level, we have what is called our monad. So our monad is divided into 12. It's split off into 12 densities. So there is an avatar in a portion or version of ourselves that exists in all 12 dimensions. So the only one we see is the one here in the 5th dimension, which is the lowest aspect, and it's also carrying a small percentage of our consciousness. So while we're operating here in the 3rd dimension, there are versions of ourselves that are existing in the 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way to the 12th that are still functional, and they're still doing work there. So the whole purpose of this ascension is a integration of multidimensionality. And that's what it's what I call it in my book. It is the integration of spirit and matter. It is collapsing those versions of yourselves that exist in the 12 dimensions and in collapsing them here into the now, into the here and the now. Therefore, spiritualizing your body and transforming your body into an immortal. So that is how we exist, and one of the things to access those levels or those aspects of ourselves is through meditation. Of course, there's the different techniques that will get you there faster, but for those that are doing the work, they're actually raising their consciousness and their vibration, and little by little, they're accessing their 5th dimensional self. Which is known as our galactic self, by the way. So we all have that. Many of the star seeds that are functioning here on the Earth are also still commanders on various ships, and then on top of that, they're from the 8th dimension and up, they're guardians of different galaxies, and then guardians of different universes. So that's our multidimensionality right there for you.
Yeah, exactly. And some of us have memories and an awareness of those other realms and what we do on some of those other realms, which is very fascinating. It sounds like woo-woo crazy talk, to a lot of people, but I guess at some point those realizations will become more into the consciousness of everybody, and that's what I'm hoping. All right, so today I saw a video, a short clip that you did that I found very exciting. You said the storm is upon us, right? And so let's go into that a little bit. We kind of touched on it before, but what exactly did you mean? How how imminent is what's coming right now?
Okay, so as of May 6th, the Earth Alliance and the White Hats were able to drain the swamp 100%, up to 100%. So from the last 2 months, they've been, preparing the world for the announcements. So that's why I put out the video saying that the storm is coming, because EBS is about to kick in. The restoration of the new systems is about to kick in, and people just need to be aware. Many are going to be shocked because even within the awakened community, there are going to be some revelations that are still going to be like mind blowing. It's going to come as a shock to many people.
Are any of those things? Can you share any a glimpse of any of those other things that would really shock us?
The galactic slave trade, how within the dark functions of the space programs, particularly those that were working with the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate Group and the Dark Fleet Group, they've been selling our genetics to in the intergalactic black market, where hundreds of thousands of our people of the Earth, which was done through a project in the 50s known as the Brain Drain, were taken off into space to be slaves. Unfortunately, some of these people were actually taken up into space to be food for the Draco. So, many people are not going to like to hear about that. Many people are not going to like to hear about where their children have been going and what some of the atrocities that they've done to these children in an effort to, extract the endocrine. And so by now, as of 2016, according to my downloads, the Galactic Federation and the Earth Alliance were able to rescue millions of people. So there's no saying, how many humans were taken up into space since the 50s. But also the ones that were taken up into space were forced to breed so that they could create more slaves. So it took about 50 years to reach millions of Earthlings that they took from this Earth and that are being used in space for, again, endocrine extraction, slavery. And some were just straight out being fed to the Dracos, like lambs to a lion. So that's going to be one of the shockers. And when people find out about the details as to what they've done to these children, some are going to vomit.
Yeah. Now, is this interdimensional as well as intergalactic and involved with these other races, or does this only occur on this dimension that we're currently interfacing in?
We have a third dimensional universe, and now we also have a fourth dimensional. Put it this way: our universe exists in 12 different dimensions, right? Going back to the 12 aspects of ourselves. So this has been going on in the third dimensional universe and in the fourth dimensional universes. Our people from the Earth have been used for many atrocious experiments and other things. So it's been going on in the third and the fourth dimension throughout the universe, yes.
All right. So of the people in the limelight out there, the mainstream limelight, the politicians, the talking heads, these fake scientists, these, people, the Gates people, Fauci, all of these type people, how many of them are actually still human beings? And how many of them are, robots or androids or AI? Would you say that most of them are not real, or what's your take on that?
All of them are synthetic now. Yeah, the real people were taken out in 2018. By no later than 2019, that's when the real ones were taken out. All the other ones that have been in replacement of them since then have been generated by artificial intelligence. In other words, they're as equivalent to, Agent Smith in the Matrix. They're not real.
That's great. That's actually really good news. So the purpose of letting this play move forward the way it has in a very nasty and nefarious way is to have been showing people what's been going on for a long, long time. That's always been there, but it's been hidden, and now it's been brought to the forefront. I have to ask you about Trump. Is he an exception to that rule, or is he also been taken out and playing a role? And what's your take on that?
Well, this is going to come as a shocker to most, but Trump is a time traveler. Yeah, he's been working with his future version. And Melania, his wife, she's a Palladian commander. So they've been working or dealing with time travel for quite some time, ever since his uncle secured the research and papers of Nikola Tesla before the cabal got to them. Of course, the cabal got to some aspects of the research, but the real important ones that have to do with time travel were kept by Trump's uncle and have been used by Trump. See, but Trump's not working by himself. He's working with many people that are considered the Whiteheads. So they've been using time travel technology to secure all the probable timelines in order to checkmate the cabal on every possible timeline. So in other words, the inevitable defeat of the cabal has been secured because of the time travel technology that the Whiteheads inherited thanks to Nikola Tesla, who is, by the way, another galactic. Nikola Tesla was actually not a Lyran. He was an Arcturian. I'm sorry, he was an Arcturian in human form, and he was also working with the Whiteheads.
Yeah, that awesome. And as you mentioned, Trump's uncle was the one who went to collect Tesla's papers and everything after he passed. And of course, I always wonder about that. Did he actually pass, or because a lot of people, we wonder about all these celebrity deaths and everything. These people actually passing, are any of them involved with what's going to be revealed in the coming days?
Yes, actually, a lot of people are going to be surprised as to who faked their death and who didn't. So, a lot of people are coming back from the dead, you could say, that have been working with the Whiteheads. And see, the Whiteheads are also a secret society. They have to operate in secret. So that's the way these forces have always operated. That's how they're able to infiltrate each other. And it's like a chess game. But they have to operate in secret in order to, win the war.
All right. So one thing that confused a lot of us when Trump came out pushing vaccines.
Oh, that wasn't the real Trump. That was a synthetic generated by the AI programs.
All right. Well, tell us about that, because I think that'll make a lot of us feel a little better about that situation.
Sure. So basically, the AI that has been ruling the cabal from behind the scenes. Again, we're not at war with the cabal. We've been at war with AI. And like I reveal in my book, the whole war has always been against AI. The reason Atlantis fell is because of AI. The reason the galactic wars happened was because of AI. So going back to that AI scenario, so the AI has the ability to generate synthetics by just extracting a little bit of the DNA. I don't know how they were able to do that with Trump, but the Trump that was pro-vaccines. And talking about getting vaccinated was not the real Trump. The real Trump is working in secret, with the Whiteheads and, of course, the alliance and stuff. So that wasn't the real Trump. I just wanted to make a correction there. I know that caused a lot of confusion. He lost a lot of fans because of that. But the real Trump would never promote the vaccine, because he is well aware of the transhumanist, takeover of the organic way of life.
Yes, and he spoke out against all of that, years ago, because I think that he and his family has experienced some of the damage that is caused. I won't go any further into that, because that'll probably get us taken off the airwaves as well. But anyway, I want to thank you, Ismael, for sharing with us today. I know you've got other things that you've got to run off to, but I really appreciate the information that you share and your mission and all the things that you're accomplishing now. Tell everybody where they can find your work and where they can find your book and all that.
Sure. My book is available on Amazon, Our Cosmic Origin. I will also give you a link if you want to put in the description. Sure. I'm also teaching an online starseed cosmology course that I've been teaching since June. I am booked all the way till October, just because it's one of those classes that really activate people. It allows people to access their galactic memories and much more. I go really in depth, and I teach techniques and tools that allow people to access their higher dimensional selves. So I could give you the link to that as well. So that's all I've been doing. It's just, doing an online course while, I guess spreading the highest, what is it called? The next level disclosure by writing the information that I did in my book. So for those that haven't read my book, it is phenomenal. It's galactic history. It's taking ancient metaphysical knowledge and integrating it with cutting edge science into a theory that kind of explains everything, where we really come from, our purpose, our mission, and where are we heading.
That's great. Yeah, that'll be exciting. So yeah, please send me those links. And for everybody watching out there, I will put those links in the description below so that all of you can check that out. Ismael, thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate you. Love you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
And everybody else out there, we'll see you inside the Matrix.